Peace and power, family. Welcome back to Unto Read with B, Tips for Creatives. And today I'm going to try to give you guys a full reading for after the new moon, uh, which is all 9 of my decks, right? And we actually got some cards from every single deck. Okay, so it's going to be might be a long reading. I really don't know how it's going to go. I'm testing it out. I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't work. So here we go. The first card we got today is from the Farm Size deck, and it's Courage. And Courage says, help me with the healing that I need to thrive. When you are in survival mode, you are just getting through. Surviving is like procrastinating, knowing you have something you must do, but waiting until the last minute to do it. If you wait to truly live, your experience may be rushed. But if you take your time, honor, and nurture yourself, then life will feel more like you are thriving. Know that you are covered in the unconditional love of your ancestors. Love yourself and see divinity in everything that you are. Oh, Reed, remember, life is much more than surviving. Now is the time to thrive and live hard abundantly. And I think what stood out to me from that message was one, it says, if you wait to truly live, your experience may be rushed. But if you take your time, honor, and nurture yourself, then life will feel more like you are thriving. Right? So we've been living life on drive-by. Fast food, convenience, you know what I'm saying? And if you really want to enjoy life, you have to slow down and be intentional. In the end, it says, life is much more than surviving. Now is the time to thrive and live hard abundantly. Now, what I hear in this is the live hard part, right? We do not have to be in survival mode all the time, but that does not mean we are not going to struggle. Right? We are creatives. We are people who do creative things for a living. We know that that is going to be a fight because that's not valued as much as other things, right? So now is not the time to be in survival mode. Now is the time to be living life abundantly and thriving, right? So we have to have courage. The card is courage to do that, right? So that's the first card. The next card comes from the Ghetto Tarot deck, and it is I think it's the Three of Swords, Four of Swords in reverse. Let's see. Yes, so the Four of Machetes represents recuperation and convalescence. In the shadow, it represents inner conflict, isolation, and forced restriction. It says everyone needs a period of total rest now and then to recharge and recuperate. It is time to build up a reserve of energy ready for the next challenge, right? So now is not the time to be running around trying to do all the things, being in survival mode. Oh, I gotta do this. Oh, I gotta get that. Now is not the time for that. Now is the time to rest. Now is the time to plan and prepare, to be intentional about what you're doing and not just using up your energy without reason, right? So the Four of Swords in reverse. The next two we got was this is the Afro Goddess Tarot deck, and it was the Ace of Cups in reverse and the Daughter of Cups in reverse. Right? So the Ace of Cups, and Cups is all about emotions. Like that's what the cups are about, emotions. That's the theme. So the Ace of Cups in the reverse says, the Ace of Cups could point to a need to nurture your love of self. In this position, this self-love card invites you to truly get in alignment with yourself and appreciate all that you truly are. You may be withholding important emotions, and it's time to stand in your truth. Love yourself enough to allow yourself to be yourself. And I think that's really the key out of this card. What it's saying is like you have an abundance, but you're pouring it out. You pouring out your own abundance. That's what I'm seeing, right? You could be lifting up your abundance in the sunshine, on the beach, living in the clouds. You know what I'm saying? But instead, you're not loving on yourself enough, so you're dumping out your abundance. That's what comes up for me. The daughter of cups in the reverse is the daughter of cups can indicate a lack of confidence in your ideas or even a creative block altogether. Know that this self-doubt is not necessary, as you are a great goddess, and all you need to do is believe in that greatness for it to be revealed. So goddess, develop some confidence in yourself and put your creative idea into action. Both it and you are worth it, right? So this is a lack of confidence. It's like, ooh, you got something unexpected, right? You like, oh shit, I done motherfucking pulled a fish out of cup. Right? But no, you doubting it. You doubting your magical fish in the cup, whatever your creative idea is, and you dumping it out. You dumping on yourself, right? So we have to get out of that. We have to get out of that as creatives. It's easy because the whole world around us is like, oh, creativity ain't a real job, oh, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, we can't survive without creatives. We don't survive without music, TV, books, art. We cannot survive without that shit. So you are important, and what you have to create and add to this crazy world is important, right? The next cards come from the Golden Lights self-care deck. So it says, what kind of fear surrounds you when it comes to making decisions? In what ways can you release that fear? And what's coming up for me around the making decisions part is that you need to stop worrying. Stop carrying it on and on and on and going back and forth and pros and cons and blah, 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 blah. Make the decision. Right? It says, in what ways can you release this fear? It's 2 mosquitoes in here, y'all. They're tearing me up, but I'm focused on y'all. But in what ways can you release that fear? Do the thing. Do the scary thing. I'm going to tell you. Do the scary thing. Do the thing that scares you. Do the thing that's like, oh my God, I don't know if I should do this. But what is it? Do it. Do it. If you care enough to waste this much time worrying on it, do it. Okay? The next one says, think about your higher self and write about what you see. How do you think, move, or act? What type of power do you have? And what this is really about is scripting out your plan for your creative work. Scripting out your plan for prioritizing creativity in your life, right? Your higher self is somebody who is creating, who is putting out good shit, who's putting out inspirational shit, motivational stuff that is changing people's lives and moving people, right? What does that look like? What do you have to be doing? What do you have to shift and change? What do you have to see in the world in order to make you show up as that higher self that's doing that thing, that's doing the thing that you dream about all the time? Script it out, write it out, journal it out. The next card says, create a self-care playlist. Add songs that make you feel loved, beautiful, and empowered. And I think the important part around here is like, we think that playlists and stuff like that aren't really important, but what's really happening is that you are creating your mood. Music moves people, right? You are creating your mood. So you don't want to put your favorite love songs if you're going through a breakup. You know what I'm saying? You want to create a playlist that motivates you and that moves you and that makes you feel creative and makes you feel free and makes you feel flowy, right? You want to create a playlist that makes you feel empowered to create. Okay. The next cards come from the Sacred Self deck from Sacred Melanin. And the first card says, you are not lacking anything. Ask for what you want, and if it aligns with your intentions, you will receive. If ever you are struggling with feeling abundant, repeat, I am rich, I have everything, my mental is my money maker, right? And I think that this comes up for creatives because we feel like if creativity won't sustain us, right? But you are not lacking nothing. You have all the tools you need in order to make sure that you make it, that you can thrive. And your mind, your mental is your money maker. your creativity. So whatever you got to do to make sure your mental is on point, that's what you need to be doing. You are lacking in nothing, right? You don't need nothing more to do what you want to do and create what you want to create, right? Yeah. The next one says, vibe is short for vibration. You attract the multitude of things according to your vibration, whether it be a high vibration or a low vibration. What frequency are you operating from? Love, high, or ego, fear, low? Be mindful of what you attract. And this is like the law of karma. What you put out is what you get. If you thinking negative shit about what you create, if you thinking negative shit about being a creative, if you always in a negative mindset, always criticizing and being down on yourself, then you're not going to create your best work, because you got you as a bully on your shoulder telling you you're not good enough. So watch the energy that you're moving in. When you wake up in the morning, think about, how am I waking up? How am I feeling? Notice that shit. And then if it's not where you want to be, how can you shift to a higher vibration? How can you move more in love for self, in love for what you're doing, in love for your purpose? The next one. You don't have to alter yourself to fit into anyone's box. You are enough. It's going back to the last point. Like, the possibilities are endless. You, as a creative, can be and do whatever you want. You have the imagination for it. Your whole mind is set up to be creative, to be imaginative, to do things. So you have all you need to create the life that you want to create. Do not put yourself in anybody else's box, because you are your own box. And then you even got to be a box, because you're creative and you can make it anything else. You are enough. You have everything you need to succeed. The next one says, giving your last does not solidify anything. Is it worth overextending yourself, or giving and giving until you give out? What this one is coming back up to the 4 of machetes, right? Rest. Stop putting out all this energy and doing all this shit for other people. Stop doing all this stuff outside of your creativity, right? Rest and stop overworking if you're not receiving something back for all of that energy that you're putting out. Okay? Put that energy into your creative. All that extra energy you got to help a mother, put that into your creativity. Okay? The next ones are from your love yourself deck. And the first one says, I am my own person. I don't have to explain myself. Right? And I think that this one comes up to when, as a creative, we are always thinking about how our art will be perceived, right? How will it be judged? And this is like, art is to be creative. You know what I'm saying? We don't really care, or we shouldn't really care. And I'm like, this is not the culture we brought up in. This is not how we're conditioned, but we shouldn't really care about how it's perceived. You're creating with a purpose, and everybody's going to interpret it based off their own experience, right? So you don't have to explain yourself around why you want to be creative, what you want to create, how you want to create it. You ain't got to make it make sense to nobody but you. As long as your art makes sense to you, it's the right shit. It's the right thing to be doing. The next thing says, I am all that I need. I am more than enough. And all of these cards are basically saying that you have everything that you need in order to do what you want to do as a creative. You have that shit. You got it. You can do it. It says, I am all that I need. I am more than enough. You have more than enough energy. You have more than enough resources. You have more than enough support. You have more than enough imagination. You can do it. Okay. The next one is from the Soul Truth question deck. Am I consistently showing up? It says, some trade their dreams for comfort, yet comfort is the enemy of progress. Success requires showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it, and even when it feels uncomfortable. It takes guts and an endless vision to stay consistent to your dream. Journal what you can be more consistent in your life in alignment with your soulful goals. Then show up. So I think this is piggybacking off of the one of from the self-care deck around what does your higher self look like. It's like you need to journal how you can be more consistent. Schedule it out. Like that's another tip I gave y'all a minute ago, is put your creativity into your schedule so that you make sure that you address it, so that you make sure that you get to it, so that you make sure that you do it, right? Script it, write it down and make it plain. It's something, when you write, you are, your eyes, your hand, your brain is activated in so many ways because you are writing. Literally just writing it out activates so many areas of your brain. So script it. The next ones are from your therapy decks. I think the back of them are so cute. But yeah, Dr. Ebony's therapy decks. But the first question is, which emotions are the most difficult for you to sit with? Next time you feel that emotion, try riding the wave without immediately changing it. And I think this is hard. I'm going to be straight up, this is hard. But when we are having difficult emotions, what I've been personally practicing is the pause, right? Something difficult comes up, instead of automatically reacting and trying to do whatever I do to numb, pause. Feel. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Like, get curious with that feeling until you literally can't take it anymore. And eventually, I think once you get into curiosity, you kind of move through the feeling in a way that is not antagonistic, that's not completely numbing, you know what I'm saying? So practice the pause. Pause. Feel, reflect, what's going on, get curious, okay? The next one, of your habitual thoughts and judgments, which ones are effective and ineffective? How have these thoughts and judgments impacted your relationship with yourself? So, what thoughts do you have often? What thoughts keep coming up in your mind? What judgments keep coming up in your mind over and over and over about yourself? Which one of these help you do better? And which one of these keep you stuck, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling whatever? Get clear on that. Because the ones that are ineffective, you need to find ways to automatically combat that. As soon as you think that thought, ooh, this one of them thoughts, how can I flip it? How can I flip it? And I like to flip it with yes and, right? So yes, this habitual thought that I have all the time, and something else that's more positive and more on the outlook, on a positive, or more grounded and objective and not like my own feelings all up in it outlook, right? The last card comes from the Tarot of the Orishas deck, and it is Oshala. Check it out. There's a lot going on in that one. And again, I'm learning more about the Orishas through using this deck and some of the folks in my life. But let's see if I can find the card. I could have. Looked it up first because I already knew that this book is big, and I don't know exactly where. I ain't seeing it, y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear that music, but this is my jam. I love them. Y'all, I ain't seeing it. Oh, Charlotte. Oh, maybe it's spelled differently. Yep, I found it. Okay, so Ashala. The meaning is a kind father, positive parental archetypes, leadership position and authority, a fair judge, a magistrate, a gentle king or ruler, intelligence and wisdom, activities where reason is involved, mental clarity, divine protection, spiritual role, charitable and clear spirit, complete peace and happiness, teacher, professor, and any other person who forges active minds, enlightened teacher, priest who fulfill his duties as such within the framework of truth and justice on the basis of love and fraternity. This card protects you from danger and inconveniences of any nature. So I think what this is basically saying is like you have the leadership ability, right? You have the ability to be a fair judge of what's going on. You have the mental clarity around what needs to be done and the spiritual protection, right? And you're going to accomplish your mission, and you're protected from danger and inconveniences of any nature. So that was worth the wait to figure out what this means. So if this is you in the background, you is handled. That got you back. So yes, we good. We is good. Okay. So thank y'all so much for the support and the love by watching and engaging in these videos. Let me know which way it's worked. We tried writing. We tried the videos where I just pull out the points instead of going through all of the cards. And now we've tried me using the cards and like pulling up what comes for me in the moment when I read it and share it with y'all. So let me know what works. Sending y'all love. Be great.